My name is Chris Robinson. I work for the Greenville County Sheriff's Office in South Carolina. I've been partnered with Bloodhound Rusty for 4 years. We are this year's 2021 recipients of the Tracking and Trailing Award, and we look forward to telling you his story. I was assigned to Rusty in August of 2017. We went through a 200-hour course together, and spending that much time together, you're going to build a strong bond.
I heard a story of a dog that tracked almost 8 miles, and I was very skeptical as a typical police officer, and I didn't believe it.
I knew when he came home that night that he was a hero.
So I talked to Chris and found out the time difference was almost 16 to 18 hours before they actually did the track of when the man had been last seen.
So that search started December 31st, New Year's Eve. It was extremely cold here in the South.
It was an assisted living facility. The guy kind of wandered off at some point during the night. They realized it about 8 o'clock the next morning. So I went to his room, collected the scent article, which has the gentleman's scent on it. We went through some woods behind another house, went down this large embankment. It was pretty slick. And so when we got to the creek, I was like, I think we're going in.
I took the high road and finally found a crossing across the creek, so I didn't have to get wet just in case this thing went long, and it went very, very long.
Rusty went down in the creek. I went down in there with him. Then we started seeing footprints that were fresh. We came out of the creek onto a pretty busy road.
It was on highways, 6-lane highway at one time.
Went down through, across the highway and back behind like a shopping center.
And it ended up going through a super center store as well.
And I'm like, okay, so maybe he's in the store. And Rusty was headed right to the door. He's looking for that 1 cent out of the thousands that come through that door. So we went through the aisles and come back out on the main aisle and went out the other door, cold, wet, hungry, tired, but hey, my dog's working. We're gonna trust him. Took her right back onto that major highway that we crossed in the beginning. We're actually in a different county at this point.
I was amazed. This animal, number one, could track that distance at that time, but also a handler that would trust his dog to do the track.
There was a car dealership right down the road, a gentleman. They had actually left the car unlocked, and he was cold and just was sitting in the car at the front of the lot. So at that point, I opened up Rusty's VN sausages, and let him eat.
Our kids remember many stories of him, but I think this is the one that does stick out in their head.
The gentleman that we located, it was like 24 degrees, 26 degrees that day when we found him. I mean, he could have froze to death.
I'll be honest, I probably would have stopped tracking after about 3 hours. Being cold and tired, I would have just said, I'm done, my dog's done.
We couldn't feel anything after that. Fingers were cold, but once we found the gentleman, it was worth it.
I was honored to be able to nominate Rusty to be a Project K-9 Hero Award winner.
I think the most rewarding thing working with Rusty is the lives that we've saved and the impact that we've made on the lives that we have touched and been able to work with.
When we are able to retire them, we want them to have a relaxed and enjoyable retirement.
If you have a local sheriff's office, police department, search and rescue, if you can, just reach out and support them.
Organizations like Project K-9 Hero are a tremendous asset to these heroes to be able to provide medical treatment and cost and payments.
What makes Rusty a hero to me is his ability to not stop working. He's not going to stop until we find who we're looking for. So ever since Rusty retired, he's able to kind of play out in the backyard, run around.
He doesn't like it when our kids leave our backyard. He howls wanting them to come back. He's a huge part of our family now.
There's no stress anymore for him. He's deserved his retirement. He's earned it, so let's give it to him.